Hello there! It's episode 20 here on the Complete Beginner's Guide to Hearts of Iron 2024. Can't believe we've already made it to episode 20. Let's just turn down that bit. I've got some real exciting news, at least I think it's really exciting. And here it is. It's all to do with save game updates. Now, I'm sure some of you will realise, probably everybody if you're following along, that the game has a degree of randomness, right? Hearts of Iron 4's got a degree of randomness, which means even if you've been faithfully clicking exactly the way that I've done it, our games will begin to split, diverge. And the further we get into the months, the years past, the further apart our games will get, no matter how hard we try. It's always been in the back of my mind that at first this won't really matter because, a few days, a few weeks could nudge either way. But when things kick off, for example, with Russia, when we get to that point, there's going to be times where when we're attacking, one of my or more of my divisions gets destroyed completely. Whereas on your game, maybe your divisions do a little bit better and destroy one or two more of the enemy divisions and vice versa, which means, again, the gap's going to get wider and wider. One of the... Or really the way that this became apparent to me was when RSR7014, what username that is, kind of like a number plate, left a comment and said his Spanish Civil War actually started, I think 3 weeks before my Spanish Civil War did. So what I've decided to do is share every single save game that I have. So when I've finished episode 1, I've saved the game, just like you. Episode 2, 3, and so on, all the way up to episode 19, because today we're recording episode 20, after which I will add this to the list. So what that means is, if your game's starting to look, I don't know, over here, and my game is over here, and you're thinking, it's no longer really making sense, please do just make use of the link, load up whichever game you were last comfortable with, whichever episode. Maybe, I don't know, I was okay until episode 18, but at 19 things started going sideways. Okay. So you can either choose to load my episode 18 and try and do episode 19 again, or if you think, I'm still not getting it quite right, or there's too much randomness, but I get what you were saying, then just load my episode 19, and then we'll be on my save game from episode 19, should I say, and then we'll be on the same page for this episode that we're about to do right now. So if you do want to make use of that, it's on, well, I'll show you rather than tell you. If we come over to my inset. So, any video that you're watching, I happen to have chosen here episode number 5, but it should make the point. Just click on my channel icon here to visit my, the channel, the Games with Brains channel. That brings you to this site here, or this page on YouTube, and I've added the link here. So if you click on this to view the About Me kind of stuff, it's the very top one. I've put it in there. 2024 Guide to HOI4 Save Games. If you click on that link, it will take you to this very simple website that I've prepared. You'll know you're in the right place because you'll see the image there. And if you carry on scrolling down, here you'll see all of the save games that I've done after. Remember, it's important to get that after the episode. And I realise this is going to be obvious to most people. But again, if some people whose perhaps English isn't their first language or whatever, if you're wishing to follow along on, let's, for example, say episode number 8, you don't want to load up the save game from episode 8, because the save game is after. After we've successfully completed episode 8, that's the save game. So if you're following along on episode 8, you need to load up from 7, okay? So that will bring you up to the point where we were at the end of episode 7, ready for episode 8. And I realise most people, that's like, well, yeah, duh. But there's going to be one or two, again, who may be English in the first language or whatever. I'm trying to say it polite as possible. But there we go. So far as I record this, we've got episode 19 on there because, well, here we are with episode 20. Okay, let's do away with that music. That's enough for that one. Okay, so I think with that out of the way, let's come on into the game. Welcome back. It's a new dawn. It's a new day for me too. Let's get rid of the in-game music as well. There we go. Pause and close the music player. Get those sounds back on as well. Right, so last time we finished taking over France, and we had begun the declaration on Luxemburg, I believe, just to get that out of the way. Let's just confirm. A quick right-click onto Luxemburg. And yes, indeed, we're 13 days into the 25-day justification, so things here kicking off on the 13th of February, it would seem. I've also had a question from Bill, and this is a really good question. It's something that I wouldn't say struggled with, because it's the wrong word. It's just something that I assumed that was wrong. And Bill's question is with regards to the cavalry, military police, and shouldn't we be hiring some cavalry with military police in order to occupy the entire area that we've taken over? And it's a great question. Like I say, it's something that I used to do, not realizing this is a thing that's taken care of in the game. So we'll have a quick look at that before we unpause. And so what he means is, right, okay, so Germany is obviously Germany, so we don't need to occupy our own country because it's ours anyway. But let's say, okay, so over here, which was Poland, what he's saying is we would need to recruit a bunch of guys. And I realize these are not cavalry, but just see what I'm doing. Assuming all of these are military police with the cavalry, now that we've recruited them, what he was suggested is, well, then what you need to do is start telling them to occupy the area, and just basically click everywhere on the map that is now under our control, but that wasn't Germany to begin with, and that would be, you know, how to occupy the area, and that's what I thought too, but that's not the case. So if we come over to our flag menu here, and again, just watch what we're doing here, we've got this tab here, or this button here that says Occupied Territories. If we open this and zoom out, and we've not really taken a good look at this, shows all the areas that are under our control, including our home nation, but that, of course, doesn't really have any resistance because, well, you know, they're on board with what you're doing anyway. You know, the same would apply to any country. But all the other countries that we've taken have this resistance. And again, this is why when I come over to the Occupied Territories tab, I always like to rank things by resistance so that the country that's given you the most trouble is at the top of the list. And in this case, it's Poland. What I want you to notice, though, aside from these little markers that show how much resistance there is over the different areas, is on the left-hand side of this list, right above my head, so up here, we've got these MP guards. And the reason we've got those, and some people may remember a while ago, although I didn't go into it in any great detail, is we've got this territory management tab up here. And here we set ourselves the garrison template. And in this case, it was the MP guards. Yeah, the horses with the military police. We set that template up. And again, if you want a quick reminder on what that is, if we come over to the recruit menu, it was this one here, MP Guards. And again, we gave it a lower priority because, you know, again, if there's a shortage of weapons, I think it's more important those guns go to the front line versus somebody in a garrison. Not that the people in the garrison don't need weapons, they do. I'm just talking priorities. But in any case, if we edit this, so far, this is the template that makes up our garrison. We've got an military police or MP support company and 4 battalions of cavalry. Now, the total amount of suppression that they're able to apply in a certain area in this case is 10.4. And again, the more that you recruit, if you take a look there, the higher this suppression value is going to be. Clearly, the more that you recruit, the bigger or the more men are required. So yes, they can give more suppression, but it's going to cost more men to pull it off. So when we come back over here to the occupied territories, again, this is the tab. Now this is, if I was to change this over, now I'm not going to, but let's just say I clicked on this division here or this division here. Every single garrison that we have, wherever it happens to be, is going to change over in one go. And obviously, if we were to change them to something like Panzer Division, it would be very, very expensive to do that because we would have to produce thousands of tanks to pull this whole thing off. And again, the horses are obviously a lot easier, cheaper to produce in this game. It's just it's squared away with support equipment as opposed to counting horses individually. But in any case, horses cheaper than tanks. Now you may say, okay, well, some areas are worse than others. Could you just change it for certain areas? Absolutely. So each one of these here, these different areas, let's say Poland starts to get really bad. First order of business, we may decide to go from military governor to up to martial law, or even brutal oppression. The difference between these, if we were to say switch up to brutal oppression, okay, we're going to reduce the resistance even more, but we're going to need an awful lot more manpower to do that. And in addition to that, we're actually going to get less back, you know, because if we're so busy beating everybody up and slinging them into cells, they're going to be less willing and less able to give us goods from the factories and so on, which of course is something that we gain from. And again, quick reminder, the current laws and situation there, at least when it comes to Poland, 41%. We're getting 41% of the use of their factories, which is actually pretty good, I have to say. You know, if you can get 40% out of every nation that you go into, you're doing really quite well. So again, changing these laws to suppress them more, and if we go up to something like local police force, civilian oversight, you can see the suppression's less. We need fewer people to do it, but then there's a higher chance that they're going to resist. So again, when it comes to a one-size-fits-all military governor, I would say no. If somebody such as here we see Poland, look at these. We've got, not only is the resistance higher, but we see with these little upwards red arrows indicating it's actually getting worse over time as well. So a short-term solution may be to switch over from military governor to martial law. And we can see here, this is going to give us a higher amount of, it's going to help with the resistance more. But take a look at the other stats. When I click on this, you know, and if you look above me there, I can't move my mouse because I've already clicked down. But the total number of manpower, 120,000, what we're getting out of Poland, 41% of the factories. I click martial law, slight adjustment there to 115, still 41. So if I unpause, I'm just going to slow down time just a little bit. We should see these figures slowly begin to change over time. And there we go into the next day. See, that's now trickled over to 116,000. And again, if we were to unpause and just stare at that, you'd see these values change either way. And now we can see, if we take a look at Poland, instead of these upwards arrows indicating things are getting worse, we've now got these green downwards facing arrows saying that the resistance is getting less, which is obviously a good thing. And again, don't just think, oh, well, I'll just set everything to martial law then. No, because it's going to cost you a lot more manpower. It's going to require more equipment, so on and so forth. So in an ideal world, you want to set these to as lower of a value as you can get away with by having the people as happy as possible. And then at the end of the day, you're going to get the most out of them. And some countries will resist you a lot more than others. It just depends on how they're aligned and all the rest of it. So, great question. No, you do not need to manually recruit the MPs and so on. It happens in the background depending on whatever your default is here. And I always find myself, as the game goes on and I've got all these spare points, because some countries resist more than others, I'll actually create a second or even a third template for the military police. And so, for example, I'll come over here to the MP guards. I'll duplicate this one, and then I'll say, right, for countries that are a bit more tough, I'll go and recruit more cavalry divisions, such as this. And maybe this is for a somewhat tougher nation that's giving me more bother. And then for somebody who's super tough, I may even think about putting in just a tank, maybe just one medium tank, just to give a bit of armor and make it a little bit harder, especially if there's a lot of resistance. Because, of course, a lot of resistance, not only do you get less out of the country, but they actually perform more attacks onto your garrison. And that, of course, takes manpower and equipment and other issues as well, sabotage in industry. So, and again, that's more of a late game thing, but for now we're doing okay. So I think I've done that one to death there. Just before we carry on then now, so just in the very early hours of the 2nd of February, we've got some military factories that are available from the previous game. 127 out of 129, so that means 2 factories. But we may as well queue some more stuff up because, again, we're building all the time in any case. I may increase my military infantry equipment here up. Let's get that to the full 30 factories. That'll be a decent way to go. We've got tungsten and some chromium, so I think coming over to the heavy tanks, let's set ourselves for 15 factories producing the medium tanks, should I say, not heavy tanks. Speaking of medium tanks, we're not yet recruiting them. We don't yet have a template for them. I don't think we've actually got enough army experience to make the best use of that either. But that's okay, because as you see, we're very low on numbers still, at least for me. I've only got this one here at 69, which isn't really enough to pull the whole thing off. Quick look on the Navy situation. F2. Surface flotilla, everything there looks great. Now, it may be tempting to pull our surface flotilla down through the English Channel. I just don't think so. I think doing that, it's just too close to the UK. We're still going to lose too much. That said, it may be worth creating a new, completely separate flotilla and sticking them on the Bay of Biscay under a different admiral, just to provide a little bit of protection over there. What ships do we have available? Oh, one of the battleships has rolled out. Okay, so we've been waiting for this for some time. This was one of those battleships that were already under construction right at the beginning of the game. I don't know if we covered it on episode 1 or episode 2, but it was certainly under construction when we started the game. It's finally ready. So let's stick this in with the flotilla that's also got the battleship. So the surface fleet, and the top one, the first flotilla there, was the heavy cruisers. So it's this one here. So I'm just going to click this to shortcut myself to the composition. Battleship 3. And I'm actually going to go for click it twice 4. And the reason being that we're producing 2, right? One of them's ready, so there's still another to go. Then when it's ready, it's just going to go over there straight away. Okay. Escape. F. Oh no, just before, let's have a little look how our sub guy is doing. And okay, all of the flotillas are still involved in engagements. We're still short on boats. We've been trying to produce more, so we need to really prioritize that. We need to get a hold of this U-boat situation. As you can see, so many of them are fighting. So if I just hit escape to deselect all of that, just hover over some of these tooltips. 1-on-1, what have we got there? 1-on-1. So it's 50-50. Now, if things continue to be really bad for my U-boats, the very obvious way, because I've already set their aggression to go low, but the very obvious way that I can help further is by taking them away from the Iberian coast. If you just look out, just by looking at where these bubbles are of the action, things are actually very bad at the Iberian coast. Do you know what? I'm actually going to do it now. So let's follow along now. Our first change, we're going to get our admiral. We're going to right-click on Bay of Biscay, seeing as we're in control of this area now, so he can take that area no problem. And I'm going to shift right-click on the Iberian coast. There we go. Because we're just taking too many losses in this area. I realise it leaves a somewhat open door for stuff to get into the UK. We'll look at plugging that gap again as soon as we get a few extra boats. And again, once we unpause, these red areas should be okay. Again, it's not that the boats can't traverse through the Iberian coast. They're just no longer going to hang around there looking for enemy ships. Okay, escape. F3, let's see what's going on there. We've got some training going on, and it looks like the training there needs to continue. These still have novice status. Okay, F1. Unpause. And it's time now until absence of anything that we need to deal with, such as this. We're just waiting to be able to do Luxembourg. Then, by the end of this episode, I'm hoping we can get Sweden and Norway under our control. And then the next episode, it's going to be Operation Sea Lion time for the UK. Okay, improved infantry equipment, or at least that's the plan. Absent of anything going wrong. Right, new research slot available. It's going to be great when we get these new U-boats online, because we're losing a lot of them in it, and these new bigger, better, tougher U-boats will help mitigate that to some extent. Okay, new technology to research. Industry, what we're doing, that's still a year ahead of time. That's already being researched. Aircraft. Okay, so hugely important. These are no longer ahead of time, and I think it's always important to get your fighters done first. Unless you've just got so many fighters and you're already well in control of the situation and you can immediately gain from, you know, ramping up the bombing case. But I think fighters, okay, research. And again, this button here, 2D, 3D, it's just the view. That's all it is. And you can click, drag, and see what you've got. There we go. So 2D. The Focke-Wulf 190, although when you click on it, it actually looks like a Messerschmitt. That, to me, is a Messerschmitt. Although that there more looks like the Focke-Wulf. I'm not sure why they've... perhaps they don't have a 3D model for the Focke-Wulf. But in any case, neither here nor there, really. Right. Escape. On pause. Just looking for my water. So another one of the things that we've not yet looked at are these things that keep appearing on the right end of the screen. The problem is, and there's probably is a setting to change it, but we get a lot of notifications clearly to do with us, but also with our ally. So for example, if Italy's doing something over here and it's not going too well, we'll actually get a notification. Now that may be helpful. We may wish to help them out. It may also not be. What is it with me and burping when I hit record? I don't know. Maybe it's like a nervous thing. Right, Atlantic Ridge, combat. And that's probably that sound that you hear that goes... And again, different sounds meaning different things. Okay, the ones that you really need to be concerned about are when it comes up that there's a naval invasion going on, and you'll hear the sound for naval invasion, and once you hear that sound, that's like a really important sound to recognize. Because again, I'm not somebody that looks at all of these. They just build up and disappear as and when. Like, if you were to look at them all, you'd never get through the game. So being able to hear naval invasion, look at that, and then think, right, where's it happening, to make sure that you can shut it down. Some pause. Looks like we've got a couple of 100 experience available to us. Some more research. Okay. Let's roll over to Valentine's Day 1940. Let's not. Let's pause, because on the 13th of February... in our playthrough, we've gotten the justification here for Luxembourg. So, Army 8, under Heinz Guderian's the guy. The plan's already in from before. And let's have a look. What sort of benefits do we get with this? 43% for this guy. We've already set him there to be super aggressive, so, you know, if yours is on careful, it shouldn't really be for panzers. It should always really be for middle or aggressive, and in this case, we're going to go aggressive just so that this is super quick. Going to slow time down to the minimum. But before we kick things off, we need to get the declaration going on to the next country so we can keep that ball rolling. Take a look at this. There's already... a naval battle taking place on the Bay of Biscay here. So there is that. Next country along, and I realize historically Sweden, I believe, was let be. It was sort of neutral, and they went over to Norway. I find it a little easier to get Sweden first, not least that then we have a land route, but Sweden has got so much tungsten and I think chromium as well, or between the two of them there's tungsten and chromium. So these are very important countries because as we get newer technology, we require a lot more of those materials for the better tanks, the better artillery, the better ships and so on. So in order to future-proof our advances, we need them. So let's declare, or justify, should I say, Sweden. So again, make sure you're in the F1 view. The default, 432 F1. Right-click Sweden, justify, conquer. The top one, the same thing. Like, why would you do this? It takes more days and more political power. If anybody knows, if anybody from Paradox happens to ever see this, why would you ever have the option to do this? Anyway, just pick the top one. Okay. There we go. That's going to take us until the 20th of March. It's currently the 13th of February. I suspect Luxemburg will be a day at the very most. So with the general selected, coming over to the air, let's just check he's got some air to fight with. I'll tell you what, we'll give box bombers over to Heinz. So again, the easy way to do that once you're on the F3 is left click on the type of aircraft above the general, and then that will just select all of those aircraft. You can see there's loads of aircraft at the airbase in question, but we've only selected the ones that we want. And again, you can see there's sort of that reddish tinge. It's not always the easiest in the world to see, but I guess on stream it might not be as easy to see. Right click onto him, there we go. Okay, escape. Now he's going to get those stuck in right away. Let's give him the order to go, because of course we are going to. So we'll select available war goal, declare. Only the UK backing them. Well, that doesn't matter because we're already at war with them. Call allies. The only reason I'm selecting this is not that I want help from my allies, but if I don't select this button, I'm going to get all of these notifications from all of the countries, the allies, my allies, saying, oh, can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? And that's the only reason. I don't want to have to click through 5 or 6. The more countries that you get with you, the more you're going to see that message. Okay, so there we go. Okay. Right. Unpause. Not unpause. Escape, should I say. Research slot available before we unpause. Aircraft. We'd already got the Focke-Wulf going, so let's get the close air support going. We'll try and unlock. I'm not really making use of strategic bombers yet, but certainly tactical bombers, navy bombers, close air support. Heavy fighters may also be useful. I realize some players just completely negate heavy fighters. I just find them useful because of their range as well. You know, that's the main reason, really. Of course, in real worlds, they were very good night fighters because they had limited radar, which made them good for, you know, finding bombers at night. Okay, left done. Let's get this guy. 129 days to do. 3D. Oh, I didn't realize the 3D view was actually the same aircraft over and over. That may be down to one of those add-ons that we disabled for the series. Okay. Research. Let's get the two experiences. So we've got Navy as well as Air. So let's come over to the Doctrine, Air. So we can get all of these three. So it's not a case of which one do you prefer. But super helpful. Air superiority plus 20%. And this one, ground support plus 20%. This one's also helpful, but seeing as we're not really involved in tactical bombing, it's not a priority. So let's get battlefield support for the air superiority. And then let's click on this again to take us over to the Navy. And again, we're pursuing this. And this is going to help even more with our subs doing what they're doing. And they're doing it a lot. Okay, if you wish to read all the modifiers, knock yourself out. But again, they're all good. Everything there is good. Okay. Escape. Over to the F1 view then. We've declared war. We've told him to go on pause. 13. Okay, they've joined. Let's click on it. See the progress. So all 4 divisions under his control are involved. We could have actually had, you know, a bunch more divisions stuck in here, but this'll do. We estimate battle will last less than a day. Hardly surprising. Okay, national focus bypassed. And I think that is to do with our war with Luxemburg. Not that it affects us anyway. It's a bit, France is done with now. Let's just pick up the pace a little bit. So there we saw one of the divisions pop off. One remains. There it goes. And with that, Luxembourg is ours. Okay. Pause. There's the bomb. 30 trains. What on earth they would do with 30 trains in an area that's one tile big, I have no idea. But it's all good because we get the trains. Luxembourg's capitulated. Great news. Taking a quick look over here. Look at all these aircraft. Now, I believe the majority of these are British. We see there's a few Germans there intercepting. So if we come over to the F3 view, yeah. Okay, so to me, this is okay, all right? Northern France is green, so it's ours. English Channel, not so good. Why is there green over southern England? Well, it would appear here, potentially, that there are some Italian I think they may be Italian aircraft. They're certainly not mine or British flying over the area. So it could be Italy making use of itself there. We certainly didn't give any orders to attack. And there we see, yeah, they're going, look at this, they're going after Dover. So it would appear that the Italians are helping, which is, of course, a great thing. There have been playthroughs in my game where Italy basically invades the UK before I get there. So if that happens, it happens. And again, great reason why we've got the save game to the, you know, the why I'm sharing the save games, you know, because again, that degree of randomness, it can happen. Right, next thing then, Sweden. So quick check up on how things are going there. We're in the second day out of 35. Again, it's the 20th of March, so we've got just over a month to go. Also, weather, I think I said before, has a huge impact as well as the time of year on this game. So if you try and push tanks into a very cold, frozen area, especially if the divisions aren't used to it, and again, you may think, what? Divisions in the game get used to the cold weather. Yeah, they do. So the longer you have a division operating in the cold, the better it gets, especially if the general is somebody who's been operating. Same for the heat. And there will be, and if they're not used to it, they just won't fight as well. They will lose more stuff. The attrition will be higher. The organization will be less. Now, because we're going to push through Sweden, there is, okay, by default, there is not a bridge. But this little area here is disconnected, as it is in real life, but it's a very small, short distance. I think in real life they have this area connected by tunnels, but whether it's a tunnel or a bridge, either way, we're able to connect it with the railway, and we're going to do just that. And again, the reason is so we don't have to send ships back and forth, or at least not as many. We can use the railway lines. Now, because we are going to be sending a lot of traffic through this way, it makes sense to up the railway lines a little bit. So let's come over to our F4 page, which is our supply page. Lets us very easily see where the railway lines are, these little white pieces of spaghetti that are going everywhere. And what we want to do is basically get this area connected to the capital in as efficient way as possible. So I'm going to come to the construction menu, select railways, and everywhere where there's a level 1 between our capital and this end place, I'm looking to upgrade. So I may even just connect these two tiles here. See, currently there isn't a connection. So the way that you do this, if there isn't already a railway, is you select to build railways, and then you click once where you want it to start and again where you want it to stop. The reason I'm saying it like that is it's very easy to click and then think, oh, what's it doing? I don't want it to do this. And it, you know, just gets crazy. If that happens, just hit escape, start again. Come over to your construction menu, click railways, click once on the tile where you want it, left click once where you want it to start, just move the mouse, then click again. Start, finish. Don't click, drag. You know, it's another one of the weirdisms in this game. Sometimes you click and drag, sometimes you click once and then click again. Why? I don't know. There we go. So that's now planned to be built. And again, we want it up to level 2. So I'm going to click again. I'm going to click this one, and now the connection all the way here is a level 2. I'm going to follow it up here as well. Let's get this up to a level 2. Get this one up to a level 2. These already are level 2. And that continues all the way through to the capital of what was Denmark. So I'm happy with that. You can see the priority, like everything comes to the bottom of the list. I need these done more urgently, so I'm going to shift and click on this green arrow on all the railway lines to get them all up to the top priority. So I realize some of them are somewhat behind me, but shift, click, shift, click, shift, click, shift, click. And so these will be done pretty quickly, but I need them done, and I need them done now. And then everything else will just continue as is. You don't lose any experience building stuff when it comes to things like factories and roads. The civilian factories just build at the same speed, whether they've done the same thing for a day or for 5 years, unlike military factories where you do gain that experience. Although weirdly enough, the dockyards don't gain any experience when they build things over and over or not, which is, again, a weird thing about this game. Okay, let's hit escape. Come over to the F1, unpause. We need to start thinking about getting divisions into position. Remember, we're using this particular guy, Army Group 1. So rather than get the field mark, because again, he's going to be literally occupying this tile. So we'll just use, I think what I'm going to do is use this guy, Heinz Guderian. I realize he's not my best general with the best divisions. That in this case is Rommel, because we've used him more, and you see he's got level 5. Thing is, I don't necessarily expect him to immediately roll over the enemy here, so I don't want to lose some of my best divisions fighting a fight that I don't necessarily expect them to win, and you'll see why. So let's go for this guy. We'll press Z again to draw the front line, and it's this tiny area here. Yes, they are able to get across, thank goodness. So let's press Z, get him there. Okay. And that's his orders. Now, I just want the other guys stood in the general area ready to go. So let's get Bock, and we'll click the area defense. And again, this is, I find, a very useful part of this command. It's not necessarily that I want him to defend the area, but just get his guys in the general area. So he can occupy this particular northern part of Denmark. Escape, we'll get the other guy here. Area defense, and we'll get him covering the southern area, such as this, just so that if we do get through, they can follow it up. Last but not least, then, let's do our first mini naval invasion. And while we've got this little thing going on land here, we're also going to combine it with a small navy invasion to the south of Sweden here, and then whoever gets through first can help the other to link up. That's the plan. We're going to use Rommel to do this. So with Rommel selected, first off, area defense, and we're just going to bring him here to the north of Germany, because we're going to use one of these navy ports to start the attack. So let's bring him right there. That'll do. Now that that's done, the next thing we want is the actual plan for the invasion. So the easy, lazy way to do this, but it was the way that I used to do it, and it was a mistake, was with all of Rommel selected. In other words, his entire 4, in this case, just 4, but still, all 4 divisions, was then to come over to this icon here, Naval Invasion Order. I would click that and then do the Naval Invasion Order, not realizing it's much quicker the fewer units you select per order. So if I select all 4, it's going to take twice as long for the Naval Invasion Order to be planned than if I just select 2 divisions but do it twice and give 2 different destinations. So let me demonstrate. Just watch what I'm doing. So if I click here, Naval Invasion Order, it now gives me this tooltip. Okay. Where are we going to go from? Again, it's got to be one of the naval bases. So let's go for Rostock. So left click, because that's where we're going from. I now got to right click where I want to go to. And again, down here, okay? Southern Sweden. So let's pick this tile here. So this is the plan, and it's going to take, if I take a look at this, the invasion is preparing 28 days. It's going to take 28 days to pull this off. So if I'm just going to cancel all that now, right click on the bin, okay. And at this point now, I urge you to follow along. So with Rommel selected, just get the first 2 divisions. Naval invasion order, left click Rostock, and we're going to right click on that same tile. So not the one with the port, but just to the right of it. Okay. Once you've done that, press enter, and that's now got in there. So if I just hover the mouse over Rommel now, look at that. Naval invasion, 14 days. Well, you may think, well, it makes sense, fewer divisions. Yeah, but you could do it twice. So let's now select division number 3, press shift, division number 4, same again. Left click on the naval invasion order, left click on any one of these. Let's just use the same port. Be careful not to click on the existing arrow, otherwise you'll screw it up. So left click onto Rostock. That gives you the option of where do you want to invade to. Clearly it can only be somewhere that is touching the sea, so that's why you see these lines only along the coast. And we're just gonna right click onto the next tile along. So right click, press enter to confirm. There we go. So that's the plan. Now we're not committed, we can cancel if we wish, but there is the plan. So now when we hover over Rommel, take a look at this. 2 orders, both of them are going to take 14 days. It's not 14 plus 14, which would still be 28. It's 14 days, it's 2 weeks. So you can see how we're still getting the same number of divisions, 4 across from here to there, but twice as quick. And the way that we got around it was just, rather than sending them all into one tile, they're all going half each into 2. Why that makes it twice as quick is another mystery of this game. But in any case, it's in there. And again, if we zoom in, we've got the confirmation. 2 divisions there from Army 3, 2 divisions there from Army 3. And if we hit escape and take a look at Rommel there. Convoys, we see it's going to take 8 and 9. So it's going to take 17 of our convoy ships are going to be used for this invasion. And it takes them not just when we hit go, it takes them straight away. So until this naval invasion is completed, we've basically lost the use of those convoys. Okay, let's hit unpause. I'm just going to select Rommel out of interest. Yep, there we go. You see he's bringing his panzers up from wherever they were in France. Let's hit escape. Right, one of the things, I think we had them recruiting already. Remember, I wanted some of the cheaper divisions just to cover the coastline of France in case England decides to invade while our backs are turned. Currently, we left them with this more expensive division. So there's that. Okay, shift unassigned divisions. And here, speaking of these cheaper ones, here are 2. So we'll get those training. Okay. I'm just going to pause it. Oh, we've got a reason to pause it now anyway. On or around the 20th. So we've got 2 divisions here that is, you know, I'm just going to call these Silver Star. Silver Star, right? They're level 3. They're regular. They're as trained as they're going to get. All means the same thing. And who was the guy? Was it this guy? Let me just hit escape. Was it this guy? No. Oh, it was Paulus. That was him. So, having conquered a few more coastal areas up here, I need to get this guy to cover them. And I need it done before things start with Russia, because Russia will try flank us, drop behind us on a navy area and basically try and, you know, cut us off from behind. So, to do this with Paulus selected, let's just fill the area. So area defense, and everywhere along northern Germany there, the coastline that isn't yet covered, only the coastline, because again we're only looking to guard navy bases. So we'll go here. Danzig, this was still these orders were still a relic from before we started going into Poland. and then this area here. And as we expand further, we'll look to increase the cover, you know, as we advance through these areas here. So that's then, you can see he reckons now 11 divisions he requires minimum. Of course, that's okay. 8 so far. There's a further 2 that are ready, and he will certainly have those 11 before things kick off with Russia. So there we go. Again, left click to select the divisions, right click to tell them where to go, whether it's on the map or whether it's to a specific general, and that's what we've done there. Okay, anything else that's ready yet? We've got 3 divisions there that are ready. Let's see if we've got a commander who has old style divisions that could make use of them. And just clicking through to see. All right, this guy here. Okay, and this guy, if you recall, Army 4 was actually defending the Maginot Line all the way until, you know, there is, well, I say there is no more Maginot Line. We've conquered France via another direction. In other words, he's no longer required in this area. And again, with Vichy France being, you know, I wouldn't say they're our ally, but they're certainly sympathetic to our cause. We can free this army up for somewhere else. I may actually put him on the line there with Russia, just so that we've got something there. I realize he's not going to be able to cover it effectively with 14 divisions, but it's something. So with this guy selected, Z. Now, if we just click, take a look at this, it's going to draw the line from the very coast, not only all the way along our country, but also along Romania's border. Reason being, Romania is now part of our faction, so it's treated in terms of militarily like we're one. Now, I don't want to cover the Romanian border simply because that's their business, at least at this stage. So I'm going to right-click, drag all the way from their border and just cover this area here. You can see he's not convinced he can do that very well. We saw the yellow line, but again, it's better than nothing. I'm going to take these 3 older divisions off him. 1, 2, 3, or however many that you have that are older. Just click to change the template over to the newer kinds. Okay. And then right-click onto the training army to get those divisions over there training. And the 3 divisions here, 1, 2, 3, or however many that you've got that are ready, send them over to the same guy. And now he's, you know, he's got the latest divisions there. Okay. Escape, research slot, and then we can get things moving a bit quicker. Infantry-wise, we're okay. I am looking to get this mechanized thing. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Left click, research. Escape. Unpause. Now, one of the things when it comes to a Navy invasion is you need to have dominance of the seas. That kind of makes sense, right? If you don't control the seas, it's going to be very difficult to perform a Navy invasion. So if we come over to the F2, we can see, well, we've got green, we've got supremacy, so that's good. One thing that we also have, and I want to get this squared away before the invasion starts, which is why I haven't sped up the time. If we click on our surface flotilla, currently we've got 1 small flotilla that's on patrol looking for stuff, and the other 2 are on strike force. I'm just going to pause it there so I can finish this explanation. So remember, strike force, they wait in harbour and they hear about an enemy ship, however how, however why, but there's enemy ships in our sector, you know, the sectors that we've selected here. As soon as they hear about it, they steam off to deal with it. Now, what I'm going to do is change. I'm going to leave 1. Need to leave 1 because we need to help cover that, right? But I'm going to select one of these. Let's go for the heavy cruiser fleet. So we'll select this flotilla. And we're going to change this over from strike force over to this one, naval invasion support. So when the whole thing kicks off with Sweden and Rommel is, you know, setting sail with his invasion, this flotilla will actually come along and bombard the shore and help out with that whole thing. So we'll set that up and they will automatically move into position, providing, again, that it's in one of the areas that we've selected here that's, you know, with the flashing tiles, which we've done. Yeah, we've selected all of the tiles to the north of Germany. And again, you do that by right-clicking to assign new tiles, right-click, or shift right-click to unassign tiles. Okay. The new sub has been unlocked as well. Brilliant. I'm just trying to get the Navy, the attack into Sweden on the go so we can wrap this episode up before it gets too long. So, new research, okay. Take a look at this. Let's make use of these bonuses. 100% bonus for the destroyer. Okay, it's going to take 80 days. Let's get that one. Research, okay. Free dockyards, brilliant, because we need to start producing our new submarines. So I'm going to just hide myself for a sec. If we scroll to the bottom of the production list here where we kept our Navy stuff, see here now that we've got this weird sort of background behind the Tech 2 subs because we've now got the Tech 3 or the Level 3 subs. Now, I don't want to cancel these. As you see, in my case, they're almost finished. But even if they were like a quarter done, I still wouldn't want to cancel them. It would be a waste. But I am going to change them to no longer produce them infinitely. So just press the plus button there, the plus button there, and that means these are going to finish off, and then that's it. Come into the bottom of this list then, build new ship, and here we've got our new sub, the sub, or Tech 3, which is, I think, the type 7-C. Somebody says in the comments, it's not the type. You know, there should be a space is what they said between the Roman numerals and the C. In any case, let's get the new sub built, and that comes to the bottom of the list. We'll put 10 dockyards onto that. We'll then create a new line. Select sub just to, again, this is just to make it easier to find. Once again, the new sub, and put 10 dockyards on that as well. Currently, we've only got one available, but as soon as these are finished, there are 20 dockyards producing these. That will be, we've got 21. So that'll actually be a further dockyard over and above everything here. So I may actually look to produce... tell you what, let's see if we can get one more light cruiser built. So I'm just going to set this to do the one time. Actually, I'll put 10 dockyards on it. And I'll just raise it above this U-boat here. And again, reason being priority, right? So that will have a higher priority. Just to get one more light cruiser out. Okay. Escape. We've got a notification here for the outdated equipment. And if we take a look there, that's just referring to the Type 2, or the older, the Tech 2 U-boats. So we can safely ignore that. So I'm not even going to dismiss it. Okay, back to the F3, quick look how the air's doing there. Oh, we're slowly getting there. They're almost vetted up. F1, on pause. Speed up time to the full pace. Pause. Okay, so we've got a notification there. Somewhere is low supplies. So I'm going to click on it to see exactly where. And in this case, it's on the border where we are with... Poland. So remember, light blue is more than enough supply. Dark blue is you've still got plenty of supply, although it's not quite spilling out of the rafters. Purple is it's okay, but no more, please. Any more will run short, and red is we've run short. So I think because you can see the distance here between the supply hub, which is where the supplies are coming from, and again, if you hover over, you can see how it's getting there, to this particular tile is just a little bit too far. Now, if I select the unit in question, this guy here, he's under this particular general. You can see this general is being supplied by horseback still. So I'm just going to click once, click twice to increase the motorization level, and unpause, and there we go. Supply problems have been sorted. Now, it's not always as easy as that. Sometimes if you're very far from a supply hub or the railway line isn't big enough, you can't just fix the problem as easy as that. But in this case, it is as easy as that. And escape back over to the F1. Check in on Rommel. and he's ready to go. Look at this. We can activate him anytime. Obviously, don't activate before you've declared war. It won't work. We need to be at war with these guys. On pause. Pause. Flak. Okay. Let's just quickly come over to the new technology, and let's start researching the anti-tank weapon here. Okay. Of course, outdated equipment is in production now, and if we scroll up and find where we're producing the tier 1 level flak, we see there it's out. We've got this weird little background again. Let's select that and start level 2. Now, it's not always every time you upgrade do you just simply move up, move up, move up. And that's especially true when it comes to the next level of infantry equipment, because you'll lose so much in terms of how fast you can produce them every day. There is such a drop between level 2 and level 3 infantry equipment that you're you're at risk of running out if you do that. So I'll show how to negate that, but for now, yeah, level 1 to level 2, usually it's okay to go with it, certainly with the German anti-air. Okay. See there, we lost half the production efficiency, and now we've got just shy of 2,300 guns to upgrade. Okay. Unpause. Escape. Pause. Start riling people up with regards to Sweden. Okay. Shift, left click, unassigned divisions. Right click onto our training guy. Escape, unpause. 20th of March. Pause. Oh, it happens to be Justification of Skane. I guess that's the German word for Sweden. Complete. Okay, well, we're paused anyway. So, okay. Slow time down to the minimum. Quick look at how Navy's doing. Well, overall, more green than red still. Okay, right click. Let's just get those out of the way. Okay, so time is down to the minimum. Let's come over to the F3, and we've got these guys training here that are now Silver Star. Whether yours are Silver Star or not at this point doesn't matter. Get them all stuck in. And again, these ones here with the training icon. This top guy here is providing cover to Army 9. So click, 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 click. With the shift held, let's cancel the training. And I'm going to manually click onto... I'll tell you what, let's put them onto this airbase here that we were upgrading previously. So with them all selected, right click, get them there. Now we already know their orders. They're going to be doing air superiority as well as close air support. That's it. And the army that we're going to be attacking with here is Heinz Guderian as well as Rommel. So I think just for the purposes of making this quicker, I'm just going to dump the whole lot onto Rommel, okay? Normally, I would spread them out a little bit more carefully. I mean, if you like, you can say, okay, well, I'll tell you what. We'll just take this one close air support. I will give them over to Bock because he currently doesn't have any. And we know he's going to get stuck in. Okay. Later on, we'll do the same for this guy. All right. F1 then. So the main default view. Available war goal. Declare. Okay, I'm not going to call the allies because if I do, they probably will get there before I'm able to wrap Sweden up, and I don't want to have to share it with them. It's important, at least to me, that I get the resources. Okay, there we go. So war's been declared. Okay, that's it. Game on. Now I realise I didn't prepare a battle plan when it came down here with this guy to attack, because I'm not necessarily intended to just bowl on in and win. I do, however, just put a small arrow in. So let's just go X, just so that they are technically fighting versus just stood there. I'm actually going to take the aggressive down from aggressive to just the regular, and let's tell him to go. There we go. So once we unpause, they will crack right on with it, including the aircraft that are to be involved. Just before we do, though, don't forget we've got Rommel and his naval order to take place. So we'll click to activate. If you do not have naval supremacy, you will not be able to activate. So it's important you know, navy-wise, that we get this area green. If for whatever reason on your game it is not green, the only way that you can help negate that is to take the other large surface fleet that at this moment in time is set to strike force only and set it onto patrol. And then shift right click onto this area here, which we're not currently embroiled in because again we need supremacy here. But only do this if you do not have supremacy. Because if you do not have supremacy, you won't be able to tell your general to start the invasion. Hopefully you do. Everything there is fine. And again, if things go too wonky between this episode and the end of it, you know, my save game is available or will be available shortly after I finish filming this. Okay, unpause. Time is on a minimum. Orders have been given. Looks like he's not even convinced he can break through. Let's tell him to go aggressive to force him to fight. You can see there he's fighting despite not feeling comfortable about it. So again, I switched over there, Heinz, to aggressive. I think that's a great example there of, okay, balanced manner, I don't think I can do it aggressive. Well, okay, despite it not being beneficial, I'll go for it. And it says here he's losing, which he is, which is why, again, I didn't want to throw away my best divisions. Okay, so we're on the slowest speed, and here are the convoy with our naval invasion force with Rommel. And it's important here to keep, you know, speed in control and make you, every time something like this, because we need to focus on this battle. Something unrelated such as this. Okay, national focus air. Pause. Okay, new national focus, of course. Let's get something else on the go. What we got here? Tactical air effort is worth having, and also the expanded dockyard facilities to finish this off. Let's go with tactical air effort then. Let's get that one first. Italy's wishing to join. Again, I'm not going to decline, nor am I going to accept. Just ignore it. Unpause. Okay, looks like one of my... Or one of Rommel's divisions, should I say, is almost there. And as soon as you see him make landfall, pause. So I'm just going to up my time now to the second green bar. And I'm going to do the same. As soon as I see one of those divisions appear there in Sweden. Oh, pause. Let's get rid of that notification. Okay. Unpause again. Come on, come on, come on. They should nearly be there. There don't seem to be any great battle. Okay, there we go. So our first Panzer Division has made landfall. What's really important to me now is that I gain control of this harbour area, because currently this division is cut off. As you can see, it's encircled. There are no way for me to get reinforcements or supplies in until I get a harbour. So this Malmo is crucial. Once I've got Malmo, what's really important with this division is we continue swinging north to help this attack from another side. So with these two panzers selected, shift, right click to get that, and then right click to pursue north. Okay, unpause. Malmo, looks like that was easy. Pause, let's just get rid of this. Free France is called sweet. In other words, yeah. The bad guys from our point of view, who are being knocked out, are starting to band together. Okay, unpause. Whoa, whoa. Aircraft flew right into my ear there for a second. So we're still waiting on this other division. Take a look at this combat stat now. Suddenly it's turned green. That's good. And we'll be able to help out even more once these next... It's actually taken longer than I had anticipated. I'm actually not sure that we're going to be able to get Norway in this episode, but it's okay. We'll get Sweden. I'm just going to have to speed things up to a level 3. Come on, Rommel. There we go, finally. Pause. Better late than never. So we've got Panzer and Lorry Division. Actually, as it happens by sheer chance, at the same time, we've just broken through the lines there. Okay. So if your game hadn't yet broken through those lines with these new divisions that have just showed up, just right-click so that they help in that fight. What's really important now is that we've got this area here. We've got this whole segment. So we can get reinforcements without needing to go by ship. We can get them through on the land. Okay, another thing now that's kind of weird is if we take a look at this, there appears, if I just hit escape, there appear to be 3 divisions down the front line. We've got this blue one here, and we've got these 2 red ones here. The 2 red ones are actually both belonging to Rommel. And the reason why there are 2 lines and not 1 is all down to the fact that the 2 separate Navy invasions. So to fix that, we're just going to right click on the bin, okay, then left, then click Z, click again on the line, and now we've got a single one. That's kind of important, not just to tidy up the screen, but that Rommel treats all of his divisions as one army, not as 2 separate things. Okay, Rommel selected. Let's tell him to go on normal aggression because he's the one with the top tanks. Heinz Guderian, will switch him over to normal as well. You can see he's lost some of the equipment there. And we'll tell these guys Rommel, Z, and just click drag to push up there. Let's tell Rommel that'll do, those 2 tiles. And we'll tell Heinz Guderian to do the same thing, but this way. Something like that. Okay, now that we've done that, we've only got panzers in the area. It's time to bring up our infantry, which is why we had these guys waiting. So let's get Bock, who was waiting here. Press Z. Okay. And tell him to come to the front line. Click. Once he's there, Z and X, I beg your pardon, after we've done the line, and we'll just tell him to push towards the north. Aggression for Bock is just middle. Okay, you don't really want to push infantry too hard for more than, you know, again, unless it's a specific purpose. Okay, escape. We'll tell Rommel and other panzer guy to start right away, seeing as they're already there. Clearly, it's going to take Bock a few days to get all his guys across. Unpause. What's really important is that Sweden don't kick us off this Heisingborg or this area here, because we need that connection. There we go. Take a look at Bock. He's very happy overall, almost all green, so we'll tell him to go. Activate. Whoa, major pause there as we get to April 1940. Okay. Battle underway, paused. We're going to press F4 to come to the construction menu. Remember, I was saying we can connect this area up with the railway, but it's not by default. So let's get that squared away. So over to the construction menu, over onto your railway, and this very last tile here with the supply base, which was Copenhagen, I believe, in Denmark. Just click and then move across the waterway. You can't always cross water, but again, this is a short distance. You're either going to build a bridge or a tunnel. I'm not sure which. Again, I think in real life it's a tunnel. So left click, okay, and that is going to connect these areas up with railway. That's going to really help with our supply issues. All right. We've also got a few civilian factories, so there is never really a reason not to deal with that. So again, press escape just so I'm not still got the railway line thing selected. Where are we here? Construction menu. Fuel-wise, we're doing okay. Look at this. We're still over half, but 1 or 2 more refineries wouldn't hurt. So with the refinery, this Alsace-Lorraine, I'll tell you what, shift, left click. We'll put 3 refineries in there. Then hopefully with the new technology, we'll start and be okay. Military factories. We've got this tile here, which is 0 out of 9. So 9 military factories in Oberschlesien. Shift, left click. Okay. Hinterprommen is 100% now ready. Let's put some more naval dockyards there. Shift, left click. Okay. And I think I will leave everything else to improve the speed at which things can be repaired. A quick look on the radar stations, by the way, to take a look at this. Level 4. I think we'll take this one here at Rhineland that's a level 3. We'll upgrade that to a level 4. And I'm going to take one more radar base that's near the UK. Perhaps this tile here in northern France, Normandy. Shift, left click to get that up to a level 4. And that'll help with the situation there. Okay, escape. F1. F1, I beg your pardon. Oh, quick look to F2. Surface flotilla guy. We're no longer doing the Navy invasion, so this guy here can come back over to Strike Force. Because the Navy invasion, you know, we've dealt with that. I wonder what's happened to the to my surface flotilla that was on patrol. Well, they're either somewhere repairing or they were wiped out because I no longer see them. Strange. Okay, F1. Unpause. And if they have been wiped out, which usually they would break off for repairing, it's possible they can all repair, but kind of concerned I didn't see them. Things going quite nicely here. Again, I'm just ignoring Italy's request. Pause. We've got a lot of air experience, so let's look at using the doctrine there. And again, if yours, just wait until if you can. Once you've got air superiority, then go for the ground support assistance. Okay. Escape. Speaking of air, come over to your F3. Let's see if we've got any more aircraft that we can train. So, in Brandenburg, add to recruit a new air wing. Yes, we do. And again, with all of these old pick and mix of fighters, let's get 2 new fighter wings if you can. Which, yeah, this is going to easily be 2. We may actually be able to squeeze 3 fighter wings out of that. Let's just stick with the 2 for... Do you know what? Let's go for 3. I can get 3. There are so many odds and ends here, we can get 3. So again, I'm just going to click the top one. So there we go. 3 new fighter wings. Have we got anything else? Close air support. Just 97 plus 4. Just. Again, if yours is 97 plus 2 or 90, it's still okay. If yours are only got 50 close air support and that's it, then leave it. So I'll recruit one of those. Interwar bombers, I'm going to leave that. That's not quite 100. And again, they take a long time to build and I don't want to run short elsewhere. Transport planes, interestingly enough, you can't train. So there's no point training those. But we are going to make use of them now. So with all of these guys, let's get those recruiting. And again, deselect the top wing. If you happen to have a fighter wing there, which we do under Army 9. I'm going to select all of these new guys, start them training. Okay, let's hit escape. F1 and unpause to continue the fight. Actually, because the episode is getting pretty long, I think I'm going to leave it here because there's still 1 or 2 things that I'm hoping to be able to show. So this will be a great way to end episode 20. I hope you've enjoyed it. And again, do check out those save game things as and when you feel you need them. Until next time, wherever in the world you may be, take care. Bye-bye.